as the years went on and kind of for my parents' day off, I would also work in the office. And during college coming back, I would manage the maintenance department, and then I would also work in the office. And then after college, that's when I became full-time.
Were you just like, hey, I'm here all the time, I need to be a partner in this? Or like, did it get that way? Or was it your dad just like, hey, son?
Well, I think it was kind of more of a trial to see how serious I was about it.
Yeah.
Because, I did want to do other things. I was thinking about law school, but I was just kind of burnt out from school. And, working was a lot easier for me than academics. And I just think that I had to prove to them that I was serious about it.
Yeah.
And there was no point in bringing me in unless I was.
Sure. And that was back in 2007?
Yep.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any regrets on that? I mean, it sounds like you're really tied in now.
Yeah.
You got, your time, your energy, everything.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing about running your own business or having your own business is everything is high risk.
Yeah.
Everything. You're putting all of your eggs in one basket.
Almost every day.
Yes.
Like every day we wake up, the liability, the risk is insane.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a high stakes poker game every day.
Yeah. Yeah. Literally.
Yeah. And the thing is, if your business goes down, that for me, everything is in it.
Sure.
Everything is pulled into it. If you do everything right, and that's, I think, one of the things that's tough about this time is you could be someone where you did everything right. You've been careful with your money.
Right. Taking all the right steps.
Investing back into the business.
Yep.
And then you own a restaurant and COVID hits.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, for my parents, they're doing everything right. My grandfather, they're doing everything right.
Yeah.
They're growing the business. And then, there's a pump station that overflows and it's polluting the lake.
Yeah. Out of your control. Nothing
out of your
that
control.
You did wrong.
Nothing you did wrong. And that's the thing that I think is tough, because if you're in that situation as an employee, okay, well, I'll just work for another company.
Right, I'll go get another job.
Yeah. You can't just grow another business.
No.
Like that, especially when you've used all your assets.
Yeah, you put everything into this one.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have fear? Do you worry every day? Like, today's a day. I mean, especially 2020. COVID's brought a lot. COVID has damaged, I feel like, the hope of small business.
Mm-hmm.
Do you walk fearfully, or do you not so much?
One of the things that I've learned is that every day ends. You can have a really bad day, and you're dealing with this one situation, and you're dealing with another situation. But every day ends for the most part.
And then tomorrow's a new day. Fresh start.
Because you're exhausted at the end of the day. Some of my days are 6 a.m. to 11 p.m.
Wow.
Just in a row. And, no matter what, I'm kind of a morning person. So like when I wake up, I'm good to go.
You start over.
Yeah. Because you think about like towards the end of the night, like, what am I doing? Like,
Yeah.
why am I putting myself through this? And then tomorrow's a new day. No biggie.
I like that. Every day ends.
Mm-hmm.
What has been one of the hardest things that you've had to deal with, where I guess just one of the times you're like, I think I'm going to throw the towel in? Is there a time period or a thing that really got you?
The obvious one is COVID. that was
what
that was
part
tough.
of it? The early part when we're just hearing about it, or more
The early part is because there was nothing you could tell. There's no expert, and people kind of expect you to be the expert. And we're in March, and people are saying, "What's going to happen? How are you going to protect my family?" and things like that. And like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just found out about this thing too.
Yeah, it's an ongoing situation, and hopefully things will be cleared up by summer. Like, you don't know, but you can't promise anything. It was just a very tough thing to be in, because you're helpless. You're helpless. But the one nice thing about this time period, I'm one of the trustees for the NJCOA, which is the New Jersey Campground Association.
Okay, awesome.
And the Campground Association in New Jersey is strong. It's a good membership. We have an excellent executive director, and we were able to be kind of tied in through all this. So at least I was getting good information. They were able to borrow a lobbyist from another industry, and we were able to get some things in to make sure that we had a voice, and we were able to get campgrounds open pretty early with everything else that was going on. So that was one thing where it was nice that we were meeting a few times a week.
And felt probably a little bit of support and
Support, because we're all in the same boat.
Yeah, everybody's scared. No one knows what's going on.
Yeah, and we're all, family-run businesses. There's a few corporations, but for the most part, the people that are on the board, they're the ones that are in it.
Yeah.
We don't have the same voice for the swim club, and one of the things I was always kind of like, well, why do I have to be involved in this? The Campground Association, and I kind of was told that I didn't really have to go to too many meetings, and that's how I was kind of roped into it. But because our business is a lot different than a lot of other campgrounds. We're kind of a destination campground. Most campgrounds are centered around something that's nearby.
Gotcha.
Like the shore. That's the Gold Coast.
Right.
But it was such a strong voice.
Yeah.
And with the swim club portion, swim clubs mainly it's like a homeowners association. It's a board. There's not a family behind it.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to. I tried to organize a little bit on that front, but it wasn't as strong as the campground. The campground was huge, so it was a really good thing that I was a part of the NJCOA.
So with the COVID and this time when you're hearing this news and you're going, okay, I got all these people waiting for me, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these customers that have maybe already paid for the season.
Yep.
Like I can't imagine the pressure sounds really intense.
Yeah, because I think that it's just the money just sits there and then it comes back.
Yeah,
but that money's it's
keeping things going.
It's keeping things going.
Yeah, there's a lot of bills around here.
Mm-hmm.
What did that look? So how do you handle that? How do you handle stress generally? So does something like that just tell me about your stress? Because that's one thing I'm finding out is. There's so much stress, right, when you own your own company.
Yeah.
And that seems to be one of the big differentiators for me, the ones that can get through it, is they find ways to deal with stress, where others just, I can't take it, and they quit.
Yeah.
So in that moment, what was it like? Like, how did you...
Well, usually the tactic is every day ends, and, the season also ends.
Yeah.
And I'll have some downtime. I'll be able to go on a vacation. Like the vacation is definitely a nice carrot that sits there for me. Like, I'll be able to go on vacation after all this.
Which you'll be in Puerto Rico.
Yes.
In a couple weeks.
Yes, hopefully, as long as everything's still going.
Yeah.
But I think for me, a very good one for me is going running. It helps clear my head. Just for 30 minutes, I'm free. I'm able to run. And running around here is nice.
Yeah, trail running right through here. Mm-hmm. Wow. What's something that you've just learned like over the last few years in doing this? Because there's so many lessons when you're running your own company, when you're in a partnership. What are one of the two big takeaways? Well,
I think every business is different, and you kind of have to find out how your business works. There's no real model that you can just put across every industry.
Yeah.
Like I think about like when I was in college and I was trying to apply what I was learning in business classes to here, and some of it was helpful, but this business is its own business, and every business is its own business.
Yeah.
So one of the things is managing employees.
Yeah.
And kind of, I would say, what people do is they try to brag about how tough they are on their employees.
Which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. But for me, I mean, I have 15 to 22-year-olds that aren't working because they need the money, you know? So you kind of have to find a way to manage them, to make it fun, to make them want to come to work. And, you have to be very lenient because, we're just hiring these people for a short amount of time.
Right.
And you just try to work through it.
Wow. Huh. That sounds kind of crazy. Let me ask you this. So with your dad, and then it sounds like you're kind of here all the time, kind of running a lot of it.
Yep.
Is your dad still involved?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. That's the thing is that there's so much specialization in running this place. Like, one person couldn't do it all. It just would be impossible. Yeah. So my mom, she mainly handles the snack bar and the office and the accounting aspects. My dad also very big into the accounting, and he's also very good with machinery. So he runs maintenance.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
What are your goals? What kind of are you guys loving where you're at now? Have you kind of hit that sweet spot where you're like, this is great? you know, we love the profitability, we love, you know, versus the headache?
Mm-hmm.
Do you intend to, I mean, it seems like every time I come here, it's going further back, like new pools and new things. So,
Yeah.
and with each goal comes, like you said, risk.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you hoping to do next?
So I think you have to be fluid because, you know, things change. Things change really quick. We found that out now.
Sure.
So you have to kind of, I don't know, you have to figure out what people want.
Yeah.
And, you know, try to make little tweaks to make it a little bit better. Because, I mean, otherwise, we're basically doing the same thing we were doing, you know, 60 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, we have the summer place for people to go, and, you know, it's a nice family-friendly environment.
One thing I was just thinking about, so when you're here a lot,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever it just sounds like for me, and maybe you got tired of it, maybe you see it, but I don't know, just seeing these little kids coming and having like the time of their lives,
Mm-hmm.
or big kids
Yeah.
on the ropes, you know, these things, what's that like? Does that ever get old?
No, it doesn't.
I feel like that would just be magical. Like that would keep you young in some ways.
It does, and it's definitely done that for my parents, especially working with young people their whole life. That was good for me growing up because, you know, it wasn't foreign to them for, you know, kids getting into trouble. Like they knew what kids were doing.
Yeah.
You know, and they weren't, and they I don't know, they didn't have unreal expectations. And for me, I had a lot of responsibility, so I was a pretty good kid anyway.
Yeah. So as far as we know, how do you define success? What is success to you? Do you feel like you're a success? Do you feel like when I do this, I'll be successful?
I don't really look at it that way.
Okay.
You know, for me, ideally, when you're talking about goals,
Yeah.
the goal would be to be able to maybe manage this a little bit better, where I could also have a life in the summer.
Yeah.
That would be amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, right now it's just like you just sacrifice it, it's gone.